What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin. Before we get into the analysis, I just want to say thank you and shout out to Guidub's show. You said I would love it if you made a new video about Litecoin, so we're doing this for you. And then shout out to Crypto Trum for afterwards just doing this video for me. I'm not. I'm going to do my analysis, but I just want to read this part here because I think it's funny. Maybe you guys will get a kick out of it too if you've been watching the channel. Haters and lovers alike. He says, I got you on his info on Litecoin. Here's his prediction. The bottom is 100% in, but it could go lower. But who cares? Because that's fine, even if it goes to zero. But we should see some tremendous gains here, like upwards to 27.9K by the end of the month. Hang on, let me check the 1 hour. Yeah, it's going lower, way lower. But that's okay because the low is in. I think that's perfect. That is a great. This guy's hilarious. Crypto Trum. I could tell that you seem to not like me. I don't know if you do or don't. Maybe you're just being a smartass, and I appreciate it. I think that's hilarious. I thought that was really funny. That was very witty, very clever, and very accurate. Actually, you'll probably hear a lot of those catchphrases in here as I'm doing this analysis. But let's get into it. Okay, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. Gotta have fun, man. If you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't laugh at all. Crypto Trump genuinely made me laugh right there. That is hilarious. It's accurate. That's why it's funny. Anyways, looking at this here on a daily time frame, we've got about 7 hours 27 minutes left. Zooming in onto the 1 hour, the RSI is positive. Hold on, let me look at the 1 hour real quick. Yep, we're going higher, way higher, but we're still going to go lower. No, but who cares, right? So the stochastics look bullish. The MACD looks bullish too. I'm actually surprised at how green the MACD has been for such a long time. That could promote more growth, but typically, if you're green this long, I mean, how many times are we this green for this long, right? Not too many. We will flip red at some point. That doesn't mean that we're going to see a massive retracement, but just some kind of consolidation. So here, looking at the 1 hour, I suppose we do have bearish divergence. Yeah. But we've already seen that move. I don't know. Let's look at the high to low. Let's just see here. High to low here. We'll push up higher to the golden ratio. We'll hit 100 to $101, $102, and then likely from there come back down to $98 to $96 to consolidate, holding up higher lows overall, and then pushing on further. So $99 now, $101 to $100 in like a day or today, and then we'll pull back down likely to $98 to $96 and then continue to run. Okay, that's what I would foresee. That little pullback gives your 1 hour time frame indicators enough time to cool off and reset, and then you can push higher. The 4 hour MACD, look, it agrees with this even, right? The 4 hour MACD typically, look at this, the last time you did this exact thing that I'm about to call for. You crossed above the zero here, and what did you do? Well, you continued to push higher, but once you crossed above the zero right here, you consolidated for about a day or two, and then you continued to rally. You're about to do the same thing here on the MACD. You're crossing above the zero now. You're probably going to consolidate. We've noticed this for whatever reason on the 4 hour MACD specifically. It's when you cross above the zero, you get a little consolidation and then the big move comes. A little consolidation and then the further move comes, right? I think that we are getting set up for a move that's going to be not just a continuation of this move, but a bigger move altogether that's going to break us out of this range that we've been in since the 10th of October. So I really am excited to see what happens next. But again, with this cross of the zero on these oscillators, I think it's safe to intend or expect that we do have a consolidation phase for about, or I shouldn't even say a consolidation phase, like a little pullback, a little stagnation over the next day, day and a half, maybe 3 days, something like that. The stochastics look bullish, and the RSI is volatile, very volatile. But we could pull back, right? The RSI could pull back to the 40, find a higher low. We're establishing an uptrend, blah, blah, blah. Days to come, we will be overbought, and it'll be good. We will see tremendous growth to a price of $27,921. I don't know where that number came from, but no, it probably won't go there. It probably won't go that high. Daily time frame, the RSI bouncing off the 40. We love to see it. Good. Bouncing off the oversold zone. Now you're bouncing off the 40. Rejected the 50. Now you're back above the 50. This tells me that we do have growth over the coming days and weeks to go. But again, a little bit of consolidation here or there might not hurt. If we push up a little bit higher today, and then tomorrow we consolidate a little bit, and then the next day we continue to rally, that's appropriate for what we're seeing here in the daily RSI. Stochastics would also suggest that we move higher if this cross remains, right? If the blue line can remain crossed above the orange line, we should move higher. We're actually finding support here at the same area that we've been finding support dating back to the 10th of October. We found support a little bit above this area before, right right at this area here, a little bit below, right at it there, a little bit below right there. So in this area, it's uncommon, first and foremost. It's very uncommon to find support right here at the 32 or the 30, whatever it is at the stochastics. But for Litecoin, it seems to be a little bit more common, so we'll give it to you. The MACD overall is trash. Actually, it looks very sad. I don't like the downward sloping trend in the oscillators, but you are building some bullish momentum here. We'll give it to you. We'll give you some, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll give you some optimism that you will continue to grow. I mean, you do have, let's see, you don't really have much going for you on the MACD. You have a lot more going for you on the stochastics and the RSI. I don't really have any things of, what's the word, words of encouragement for the MACD, other than maybe you found the lowest reading on your histogram that you've seen since March, which back here in March, that was a relative low point. You did go a little bit lower in April, as did all cryptos, but you were more or less done with your down move, right? You were very near the end of it here. I guess you were halfway through. Let's be fair. You're about halfway through. You still have more to go. Do we have more to go here? I don't know. I was trying to spin this into a good thing. I'm spinning it into a bad thing. I'm not worried about the MACD, right? The MACD is less reliable when price moves sideways, whenever you're stagnant like this. So it's very unreliable here, right? We can prove it to you. You crossed above the zero here. That's a good thing on the daily time frame. Well, that was actually the worst time to buy. We crossed below the zero here. That's a bad thing on the daily time frame. Well, that might have been the worst place to sell because it's at a low point. You've been moving sideways for so long. The MACD is probably not reliable. Let's just be fair. So it looks bad. We don't really have much to go off of, but other than that, you know, the stochastics look good. The RSI looks good. I would think that we do move up from here with moderate turbulence here and there, right? Once we break above about $103, $100 really. Once we get a daily close, let's just round this up a little bit. Let's say above about $105. Once we get a day to close above $105, you should be breaking out of this range, should be pushing higher to 120 and beyond. And with that, I can't imagine that there's much stopping you from just breaking out of this range that's been holding you down, right? Notice how tenacious you've been with trying to push through this level here. Here, rejected once. Here, rejected once. Here, rejection right there, right? Here, just consistent, tenacious behavior, trying to get above here. I can't imagine that when you break above here, it'll be the move that corresponds to that would be anything small. It would likely be a large move that propels you well above $300. We've been forecasting this for some time. We've been wrong about the timing. We won't be wrong about the result. Undoubtedly, this is mass accumulation here. And we're seeing it happen with Zcash. We're seeing it happen with Dash. We saw it happen with Stellar Lumens and XRP. There are coins that have had multiple cycles of, let's say, stagnation, where they did not see new all-time high cycle over cycle, but they go in these mass accumulation phases, and then they just do a 5x move in 1 month or a 10x move like Zcash in the course of a month. It's crazy stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised in the least, like Zcash, like Dash, like some of these other cryptos, like Stellar Lumens, like XRP, if we were to rip all the way up to our all-time high area, which is at about $400. Really, I think Litecoin here, if not by the end of November, then certainly by the end of the year, will be at $400. That's the expectation. Now, here's where the quote-unquote tricky stuff comes in, right? Because we've done our analysis on Litecoin. We've done it plenty of times. And when we compared Litecoin to Bitcoin, you know, honestly, it's hard to imagine Litecoin at a $6,000 to an $8,000 price. If Bitcoin goes to $500,000 like I expect it to go, it's hard for me to imagine that Litecoin sees anything above like $3,000 really. And the reason for that is we look at the monthly time frame on Litecoin to BTC. You know what? Let's actually do this real quick. I'm going to go on a detour, but I'm going to come back to this thought, okay? Let's just see. Let's just see something real quick, okay? Monthly time frame. Let's pretend, okay, I don't know why the volume looks like that. Let's fix that. Sometimes you got to pull it down and then pull it back up and then boom, then it's fixed. That's just weird. I don't like TradingView. You got some glitches, man. So if we were looking at Zcash before, I can tell you right now from this perspective, I would not have imagined that we really got too much above like this point here. I would have, if we were down here, right, if the chart didn't look like this and it looked like this, I would have incorrectly assumed that Zcash at best by the end of this cycle would stop here. That's what I would have assumed. And already, and we're nowhere near the end of the cycle, I guess we're near it enough time-wise, right, like a half year out or so, we're already above that level. So we'll probably grow higher. So in all fairness, with some of these dinosaur coins, some of these sleeper projects, maybe I'm not bullish enough. Maybe I'm not bullish enough because, again, the thought here for Litecoin was we probably don't go above this area. We probably don't, right? LTC, BTC, it probably doesn't go above this line. That was the thought. But what if it does? What if we get a massive breakout? What if we do go all the way up to our golden ratio at 0.056 to 0.074? I want to see real quick. Google calculator. And I'm not doing a super in-depth analysis here. I just want to entertain the thought that what if you do something like Zcash? What if you do something like XRP, like XLM, where you're breaking out of your very significant ranges? What if that happens? 0.00563. Let's just do that. 0.00563. And let's multiply that by, I'm perceiving Bitcoin to go to 500,000. So by the time Litecoin tops off, maybe Bitcoin's at 450,000. Let's just say that, okay? 450K. That would give us a price of $2,500. So and that's at the low end. 2,500 right there. What if we go higher? What if you go up to this area here and you're at 0.0072? I just want to see this. Again, this is rough math. This is not like real analysis, but nonetheless, we're doing it 0.0072 times, let's say, 450K again, right? Hey, will you stop, please? I'm making a video. I'm almost done. It's the last one of the day, and then I'll be with you. 3,200. So again, just having a hard time here, even if you go up to this golden ratio, which I'm not saying that you can't go past there, right? My expectations can definitely be exceeded. I'm just having a hard time seeing you get past here. Again, Litecoin talking about the all-time high. Getting to this $6,000 and beyond price, it's not impossible. I'm just very convinced at this point that we do see, by the end of this cycle, something closer to about a $3,000 price. That'd be my expectation, right? We've shifted gears. We've shifted plenty of times. For a long time, there was a time that I thought Litecoin at best would get to 2,500. Then we were thinking 6,000, maybe even higher than that by the end of the cycle. Now we're back to kind of this $2,500 to $3,000, $2,500 to $3,000, $3,200 level. The only way that Litecoin could go to higher prices than this is there's two ways. One, I'm not bullish enough on Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes above $500,000. So by the time that Litecoin is at this level versus Bitcoin, that price, if it's at $1 million or whatever, then we'd be at double. But Bitcoin would have to be at $1 million, and Litecoin still would be above $6,000. It would be like right in the heart of this range. That'd be if Bitcoin's at $1 million. That's a stretch to assume that we're going to get here, right? Or the other thing that has me wrong, that I could be wrong on, is maybe I'm not bullish enough on the LTC BTC chart. Maybe there's more than meets the eye with this chart, and we are getting set up for a move that takes us, I don't know, all the way up here where we found resistance multiple times, right? We found resistance here in 2017. We found resistance here in 2019. We found resistance here in 2015. What if we went all the way up to 1.9% of a Bitcoin? And if it is 1.9%, we multiply that by a $450,000 Bitcoin. That gives us an 8,500. The only way that Litecoin gets to these levels here that I think is realistic, that gets above $5,600, that gets toward $8,000 or anything like that, would be if LTC BTC came all the way up here. That would be the only way. And it's not impossible. I just have a hard time seeing it myself. We'll keep up with this. It's not impossible, but what I can say confidently for the end of cycle prediction is I'm very confident Litecoin has the capabilities to go to $2,500. And that to me is the most sensible area for the end of the cycle. So I got nothing else. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. One last shout out again to Guidub's show for the request, and shout out to Crypto Trum for the funny explanation. You probably nailed it on the head. You can probably apply that to many different analyses that I give. Shout out to Jesse Coonfair for being a turd. He says, let's see, lives in his own head where he is a crypto veteran. Well, I am a crypto veteran. I've been in crypto for 10 years. I don't know about you, Jesse, but probably not as long. But maybe you've been in longer. I would assume if you've been in crypto for longer than 10 years, you probably wouldn't be wasting your time with snide comments, right? Probably not. So you're probably inexperienced yourself. But you said that's been through 3 bull runs. Well, I have. So that's not me living in my own head. That is reality. So I know everything. I've never claimed to know everything. I've never claimed to be an expert. And in fact, I've said those exact words. So you're lying. And then you said, and everyone else is dumb and a hater because they call me out on how dumb I really am. No. If you call me out for being dumb, I've been dumb before. I'll be dumb again. It's inevitable. I make dumb decisions or dumb thoughts at times. I'm a human being. But no, just because you're a hater does not mean you're dumb. You're lying here, Jesse. Unfortunately, you're not dumb because you're a hater. You might be dumb if you misunderstand simple English, which it seems like that's the case here. So maybe that, yeah, maybe you are dumb if you don't understand my words. But no, if you're a hater, you're not dumb. You're just a hater, and it might be dumb to hate, but that doesn't mean that you're dumb implicitly. Um, the only thing that I think is dumb at all is if you take someone's words, you twist them, you make them into something your own, and you just completely miss the point of the subject. That, Jesse, that is dumb. I wasn't going to read that part, but I just saw that there. So I was reading the comments, and I was reading the funny one, and then I read below it, and I was like, oh, maybe this is more funny stuff. But it's not. It's not funny. It's actually just, it's hurtful. It's mean. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna go away. Jesse Kuhnfair is one of my loyal followers on YouTube. So we'll see you guys all again. I appreciate you very much. Hit the like button, subscribe. Sorry for the little, I don't even know what that was at the end there, but I'll see you on the next one. Take care. You're not dumb if you're a hater. You're only dumb if you're incomprehensive, right? If you can't comprehend words, then you probably are dumb, and that's not an insult, right? That's just the truth. If that's the truth, I'm assuming anybody who understands that, though, you're not dumb because you can comprehend things, right? Anyways, take care. Bye bye. It's not Halloween anymore, so I got to find a new home for this guy. But it's November. I guess I don't know. It's Thanksgiving, right? We can still bust this guy out. Hell yeah. What do you think? No, we can't. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.